Hello again, my name is Barbara, and this time we're going to do a Bandha practice. What are bandhas in yoga? Bandhas are locks or closing off. It's related to our energy in our body, our energy channels. The idea being that when we block the energy flow to our body with a bandha, when we block, we activate, and then we release that activation, the energy will flood more strongly to the body with more pressure and more intensity. Bandha practice is quite intense, so it's cautionary to begin it gently, carefully, cautiously, and lovingly, listening to your body and what it needs. So the first bandha that we talk about in yoga is the Mula bandha. The Mula bandha is the root lock. Basically, it's the pelvic floor. So what we're doing as we breathe in, we're pulling up the pelvic floor. Imagining that all those intestines are like a big bag of cooked spaghetti. We're just drawing up that bag of spaghetti upwards. And we all know the pelvic floor is a really important thing to stay toned. This tones the pelvic floor, the endocrine system, the excretory system, and it can help with constipation and depression. So let's just try that, the Mula bandha. We breathe in and we draw up that bag of spaghetti inside, noticing our shoulders are behind us, and drop down, our hearts are lifted, let it go. One more time, breathing in, gently lifting up that pelvic floor area and releasing it. That's a Mula bandha. Moving up to our second bandha, the Uddiyana bandha. Uddiyana means to fly or rise up. So this is again pertaining to the energy. It's more in our middle. It's our diaphragm, our stomach, our abdominal organs. And what we're doing as we breathe in, we're basically pulling our navel toward our spine and pressing these organs and tissues backwards. So it's a bit of a massage for those internal organs, and it stimulates the digestive juices as well. Again, quite intense. Releasing it, so we're breathing in, we're pulling the navel back towards the spine, toning those abdominal organs, noticing our shoulders drop down, our hearts lifted, and let it go. If we want to combine the two, the Mula bandha and the Uddiyana bandha, we breathe in, lifting the Mula bandha, then pulling the navel towards the spine, and releasing. And on the release, we feel a flow of energy. The third bandha is a Jalandhara bandha. It's the throat lock. So, not to get too complicated, basically this is very good for the thyroid and metabolism, because the thyroid is the conductor of the orchestra when it comes to our metabolism. And all we're doing, we are simply tilting our chin backwards, creating energy in the back of our spine, making sure our spine is very straight, and just kind of drawing back with that chin. So let's try all three together. When we do all three together, it's called the Maha bandha, or the great lock. So again, in order, we would pull up the Mula bandha, draw the navel back towards the spine, tuck our chin, make sure our spine is nice and straight, shoulders drop down, and we release it all at once. Let's try that together. Breathing in, lifting, drawing back, locking the chin, pausing on the breath, and releasing. Doing it again, breathing in, pulling up that bag of spaghetti, drawing it back towards the spine, lifting the crown of our head, tucking our chin, and letting go. Now, if this is too intense, if this is not comfortable for your internal organs, we can take this much gentler. Let's press a hand below our navel on that area, a hand on our heart, whichever way feels the best, and breathe into those areas. We can imagine that we're drawing up the Mula bandha. We can imagine that we're pulling the navel towards the spine, and maybe we could just tuck our chin a little bit, lifting the crown of our head to the heavens, noticing that energy, and releasing. Breathing in, imagining that lifting up, drawing back, the spine, the energy in the spine. And releasing. Let's do that one more time. This gentle version of the Bandha practice. You'll notice as you do this that the awareness of our breath and our energy and our core and our pelvic floor and our spine all just tunes up a notch or two. And there's something beautiful that happens when we become more aware of our internal self. There's a fancy word for it, it's called interoception. Just becoming more tuned in, more mindful. And that alone is very, very calming for the nervous system. It releases stress, anxiety, brings us into the present moment. Because really, grief is connected to the past. Anxiety is connected to the future. So if we can be in the present moment with our practice, then we can, for that moment, escape the struggle, escape the fear, sink into a place of refuge, of sanctuary, within the present moment. Thank you for joining for the Bandha practice. Namaste.